You got big dreams, big purpose, big visions on your mind. You just wanna change the world in these crazy times.
Okay, hi, welcome back. If you are new to this channel, please make sure you subscribe so that way you'll know when I upload videos. In case you do not know, I am Brittany. And just welcome to Her Virtue. So, as you can see from the title of the video, we're going to be talking about daddy issues. And yes, last Sunday was Father's Day, but my dad died, and sometimes I just have a little bit of a difficulty trying to like discuss things pertaining to him, especially around like the holiday-ish, you know, the whole holiday that we set aside in this country to celebrate our fathers. So I just want to talk briefly about daddy issues and how you can have daddy issues and actually still have a dad in your life. Daddy issues, a lot of times we think of daddy issues as oh, well, my daddy wasn't in my life and he was a deadbeat, or he just didn't care about us, or he wasn't around, or whatever the case may be. And that plays a role too. But also you have dads like mine. My dad was a pastor, so therefore he traveled a lot. And with him traveling a lot, and when I mean a lot, like he went out of town one time to preach and he was gone for like 6 weeks. Like this revival lasts for like 6 weeks. Stuff like that. Or he'll go for like 2 weeks. Or I remember one time him and my mom, right after I had my son, I think I was maybe 19. Like they went out of town for around Thanksgiving. So like when they left, like I spent Thanksgiving with my son and his godmother at the house. So, and then they were at the house, and because he was little, I ended up going over some church members' house to celebrate Thanksgiving for the free food. But nonetheless, let's get down to the nitty-gritty. This video is not going to be that long, but I want to particularly talk about two main things. Because my dad was a pastor and he went out of town a lot, that developed issues for me, because his way of, number one, he grew up poor. So his way of expressing love to me was, in his absence, he would like bring me gifts back from out of town, which is fine. But, you know, preaching and being up late and studying and all that other stuff and being on the road, it tires your body out. So, you know, when he got home, naturally, he just wanted to like rest up. So, not really being able to spend that quality daddy-daughter time that I wanted over years and years. Like he started traveling like when I was 5. So from like the time I was 5 until the day he died, like he traveled to preach. Like he had churches, but he also traveled. So with that, because he was busy, like I said, it developed this whole, because he was tired, let me just give you some money and you go buy something to replace the time. So that created issues within me, and then it built up a little resentment along the way. And then as I got older and realized, you know, I really want, the gifts are nice and the money is nice, but I really want that one-on-one, that daddy-daughter quality time, and I was not getting that. And I just realized, you know, when I was younger, it was okay. As I got into my teens, I kind of felt some type of way about it. And then it was just like, whatever, by then, you know, friends had cars. I had a car, so, you know, we could just go hang out, whatever. Great. Thanks for the money. By then it kind of like, I really don't care. But then as I got older into adulthood and I realized I got daddy issues because this man was not there, and in him not being there, that led to me trying to find relationships that were not the best, me selling myself short in relationships, me looking for like that daddy figure that I didn't get. And a lot of women, we do struggle with that, as far as because we didn't get things that we need from our parents, sometimes, especially dads, sometimes when we're looking for a significant other, some of those traits that we look for are things of like that a dad would do. So that was one of the things I fell heavily into. From what I remember, like even in high school, I didn't date. I always dated older men. Like, that was a thing. Like, legit, like the dudes I was talking to should have been locked up because they were grown. When I mean grown, like these dudes was grown, okay? Because I was like 16 and you have a whole 9 to 5. Like, that's a problem. Your own establishment, you weren't living with your mama. Those was the kind of men that I was talking to. Ain't had not nail lick of business, okay? If you talking to no man that's dang near old enough to be my daddy, that's a problem. Thank you, Jesus, for repentance. Okay, so again, trying to fill that gap, that became an issue. And looking for love in all the wrong places, and that sounds so cliche, looking for love in all the wrong places and trying to fill this void. So with filling that void, I developed, okay, well this guy not giving me, and mind you, now I'm my only child. So, and then I was a sickly child, well, a sickly baby. So it went from attention, and then my daddy was traveling, and then it was kind of, you didn't have time for me, really. You kind of gave the church people all your attention and energy, and I was kind of like put on the back burner. That's honestly how I felt. So again, as I got into adulthood and realized this is not healthy, I'm like, what I'm looking for in men should have kind of been given to me. And don't get me wrong, my dad was an amazing father, and this stems to what my main point, which it just boiled over this particular day. I was in my own place. My husband and I were divorced, and we were dating to get back to remarrying stage. So we were on a date, and my son was at their house, and he had a fever. Mind you now, disclaimer, my mama had him on long sleeve pants and a long sleeve shirt, pajama outfit. Okay, so with a fever. Okay, so, you know, don't judge my parenting too harshly, but nonetheless, he was with his grandparents. So we're out on a date, and we're in the movies, and my dad texts me, or my mom texts me, it's like, you know, if you don't hurry up and come home, something to the effect of, I'm gonna just go ahead and take him to the emergency room, get him checked out, blah blah blah. I'm like, okay, like, you had a whole kid, like, I'm gonna need you to be able to handle a fever, like, calm down, it's not that serious, but whatever. Still to this day, I don't really know if that was really the issue or what it was, but nonetheless, so the conversation goes on like that about Israel having a fever, blah blah blah. So then my dad texts me, and when he texts me, like, this, if I remember correctly, this was the same day he had just had meniscus repair surgery. So he had it earlier in the day. My mom was watching my son later on that evening because it was like on a Friday. Me and my husband at the time were out on a date. Okay, so my dad texts me. I'm assuming this was out of pain medication, just got out of the hospital, surgery, whatever kind of attitude. You know what I'm saying? When you in pain, especially men, they don't handle it the best. Okay, so he sends this little nice nasty text message. I send back, you know, nice nasty text message, because, you know, my mouth was a little slick, like, dude, I'm grown, y'all agreed to watch him, like, not even you, my mama agreed to watch him, like, pump your brakes, I need you to learn, like, I'm coming, like, the movie almost done, tranquilo, relax. So all this out of emotions and text messages, like, he said his spiel, I said my spiel out of response, because I was in my feelings about whatever it was he said. It offended me, I guess. So then I went over there the next day. It continued to fester, I guess. And then I went over there, and I guess he was still in his feelings, and something, like, we exchanged some words, okay? And in us exchanging some words, I want to say he was low-key wrong. You know what I'm saying? You know how people say, oh, don't speak ill of the dead. No, we about to speak the truth. I think he was low-key wrong. And again, I don't have no problem admitting when I'm wrong, but I believe he was low-key wrong, in pain, talking out of pain. I don't know what the problem was, but he had said some stuff. And I remember him saying something to the effect of, well, something about I don't have to bring Israel back over there, or something slick he tried to say. I ain't need, come on now. He was a pastor, but he was human. He tried to get slick out the mouth with me. So he wasn't prayed up that day. He wasn't prayed up that day, or that pain medication was talking. But nonetheless, whatever it was, back to the point of what I'm saying. He said something out of his mouth, and all this, out of 20 something years of whatever, just boom, I just vomited everything. And the basis of what I said to him was, you were a great father. No, I said that you were a great provider. I said, but you were never there. Why did I say that? In my mind, I'm like, you a man, you can handle whatever I throw at you, right? You ain't got no feelings. Low key, you ain't got no feelings. That, I probably was thinking that, because you know, men like to try to be macho and whatever. But yeah, I hit him with, you was a great provider, which I ain't lacked for absolutely nothing as a kid, because my parents grew up poor. Let's call it what it is. They was poor. They always made sure I had, especially my dad, always made sure I had. So with that, I'm like, yeah, you were a great provider, but you were never there. Like, I needed you to be physically there, and you were not there. And that created issues. Let's be honest. So I don't know whether the conversation kept on going, but I felt vindicated when I made that. When I tell you, I was like, yeah. I'm like, yeah, Ali. I'm like Ali in the ring, like back. You know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't hit you with the 1-2 combo, the 2-piece and the biscuit, okay? You down for the count, because you can't even come back from that. Not knowing that I pretty much let all the air out of his little cell. I just bust the whole bubble, okay? It had got so bad that I had to call his spiritual father, his spiritual covering, because my daddy had stopped talking to me. When I tell you stop talking to me, I mean, that brother let his flesh take all the way over when it came to me. I'm talking about walk past me. Now, I had my own place, so we weren't living, it wasn't like I was living in their house or whatever. So we would see each other in church. That brother hit me with the, hey, like, you, like he ain't, like we were strangers. Like I was just some random off the street. You know what I'm saying? I was like, oh, that's what we doing. Okay, all right. This lasted for about a month, y'all. With it lasting that long, I called his spiritual father, and mind you now, his spiritual father, he has siblings. I mean, he has children about the same age as me. I call them my siblings. How about his spiritual father had the same conversation with his kids picked him up that same week from the airport. He said in the back, 2 of his sons picked him up, and they pretty much said the same thing to him. And he said all he could do was sit in the back of the truck and cry. That right there showed me, oh my God, as much as I view men as like these tough men and they got this tough exterior and they're so macho, like I just literally hurt my daddy feelings. Literally, he had came in town, his spiritual father. I had to call him in. He came in town, said me and my daddy. It was me, my daddy, my brother. Well, he's not my biological brother. But my brother, my mama, and my husband, we all sat in the office and talked. That next day or a couple of days later or the following week, my dad had to go out of town to Puerto Rico to preach. I think it might have been like the next day. He says, after all that, like there was no, like, when I tell you I've never seen him look sad like that, that brother feelings was hurt. Like in his mind, he probably was like, I done did all this the best I could, and this girl had the unmitigated gall to tell me that I was never there, which is true. It was the truth. We've never, when I was a kid, we never took a vacation, because the vacation was we go and he was preaching. So we never took a vacation. So we've never taken a vacation. It was like, okay, I mean, I'm speaking my truth. even though I'm speaking my truth, my presentation and speaking my truth just tore you all the way down. So, okay, not effective. So what I had to do was literally, that man said, okay, I'm about to go to Puerto Rico. When I get back, we'll talk. That man ain't talking to me while he was in Puerto Rico. We talked. I don't even remember what the conversation was. We might have talked, we might have not have talked. I don't remember. But it took him a good month or two to get back into the swing of, you know, I love you. Like, I know he loved me, but it kind of like, you know, it kind of, for us to get back to that father-daughter, you know, relationship we had prior to me hurting his feelings, it took literally a couple of months. But in that, I realized, yes, that was my truth. Yes, I had all rights to express it. My presentation sucked butt cheeks, okay? And the timing was horrible. I can definitely admit it. But what I had to learn was I had to forgive. Can't go back and change the past. I believe in my heart of hearts he did what he thought was right. And I could see how when my son came along, because my son's father was not in his life, or not in his life at all, he tried to, you know, kind of right his wrongs of what he did with me. But I had to learn to forgive and keep it pushing, and realize that we as humans, we try to do the best that we can in what we believe is right, and what we believe our kids would want, and we try to put our kids ahead of us and try to do things for their best interest. And I believe wholeheartedly that he tried his very best, and not knowing and not seeing a example, really, because my grandparents, they worked. Like, that's literally all they did. They worked. And I don't think he really saw, like, hey, let me take you fishing, or hey, let's just go sit for breakfast and talk. Like, you know, back then, they didn't really, you didn't care how your kids felt. Like, you didn't care where they were mentally. You didn't, you know, it was kind of like, do what I tell you to do, keep your mouth shut, I'm the provider, and let's keep it pushing. Like, there was no, how do you feel about this? What are you thinking? What is, you know what I'm saying? There was none of that. So in his defense, just not knowing. But then again, times change. You know, we can learn to do things differently. And out of that experience, I just learned some things you have to just forgive, because parents are definitely trying their best, especially if you see that they're trying to make an effort. You may not understand it. I know my kids sometimes don't understand, and I'm like, dang, I'm doing the best I can. I'm doing, you know, it might not be what you want or your expectation, but I'm doing the best I can. So I just wanted to share that even though you may have a dad in your life, you still can have daddy issues. And in the basis of, regardless of if you have a dad, if you don't have a dad in your life, if you feel like you're harboring anything in your heart, again, if they're there or not there, do a heart check, do a self-evaluation, and make sure, because you don't want anything in your heart against anybody, especially a parent. Because one thing that my dad said to me, because my oldest son, his father is not in his life at all. And two things. I respect the fact that he said, you know what, he blatantly said to me, I don't want to start something I know I can't finish. Hey, no problem, that's fine. And in addition to, he blatantly said that he has a bias. He prefers only having daughters and not sons. Hey, again, that's your business. That's between you and the Lord. And because that tore me up so bad from my lack of understanding and just wisdom and seeing a different side of it, my dad said to me, I'll never forget, we were living in Michigan and we were driving, where he was driving, I was riding, we were riding home on the interstate, and he said to me, never forget that if God wanted Israel to have his dad in his life, he would have orchestrated it that way. And I have held on to that going on 15 years later. And at the age of 3, my husband came into Israel's life. So you don't, I felt like it would have did Israel a disservice to have somebody in and out, in and out, in and out. That's not consistent. I feel like it does more damage than somebody that's out. And either way, it can do damage. But I feel the inconsistency is not beneficial. So I do appreciate the open and honesty that his dad provided. And I am ever so grateful for the father that he has provided him from the age of 3 up until now. My husband has been in his life from 3. That's a long time, and he's going to be 15 this year. So with that, do a heart check, do a self-eval, see if there's anything in there you don't want it to turn from hurt to bitterness. You don't. It is not healthy for your human body. It's not healthy spiritually. You want to release that stuff. Again, parents are human. We make mistakes. It's not worth it. Learn from their mistakes and let's do better. Love you. See you next week for another video. I apologize for no video for last week, but you know, when you got daddy issues, and then if your daddy died, you know, combination of stuff, still the holidays just sometimes get me. So I didn't want to be on here like crying and whatnot. I ain't got time for it. See, I done put on a little makeup. I definitely ain't got time to be sitting here crying, and I didn't put on this makeup just to go wash it off. So love you guys. See you next week. Bye.